I'm Chris Wallace, and this is Fox News Sunday. Our issues today, Acorn under fire. The controversial community organizing group gets slammed by Congress after undercover videos show possible criminal activity. We'll have a fair and balanced debate between the head of Acorn, Bertha, and one of the group's toughest critics, Congressman Darrell. Congressman Issa, it's not just the videos. In July, the Republican staff, your staff, on the government oversight and, or rather the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reforms, issued an 88-page report in which you charge the following. Acorn has committed investment fraud, deprived the public of its right to honest services, and engaged in a racketeering enterprise affecting interstate commerce.
The bottom line is there's no transparency in Acorn. Any charity that you would look at, and we've looked at them in our committee, it's a regular part of what we do, you normally find out who's paid what, where the money goes, what the collection costs are, and so on. Here we have literally hundreds of organizations tied under the Acorn umbrella, and you can't even find out what their incorporation is, whether they pay taxes, who makes what, or more importantly, whether corporations within the affiliates work in different areas, political fundraising, getting candidates elected, voter registration, other community activities, whether or not those monies are fungibly moved illegally.
The Congressional Research Service says that you are the only taxable nonprofit that they could find in this entire country. Is that so that your various subsidiaries can get federal funds and act as nonprofits while your parent group can engage in political activity? If you're so concerned about serving the community, obviously being a taxable nonprofit means that you have to pay taxes. If you're so concerned about serving the community, why not be a tax-exempt nonprofit, stay out of politics, and then you could give that money instead of to the federal government, you could give it to your community.
I think what you would also agree with is the right of the people to come together, not only to petition their government, they have the right to do that. Poor people have the right to do that.
In fairness, Bertha, I don't know of another organization structured the way you are, where they're both a political wing, if you will, of the Democratic Party and has close relations with the unions and takes federal dollars and takes charity money and does not disclose in a way in which anybody, your donors, the government, when they provide money, can actually get transparency. If you're going to change this, will you come before Chairman Towns, a man who, by the way, voted not to cut off your funding, and give the kind of disclosure to where the Government Oversight and Reform Committee can know that you are doing work with firewalls, as you say, so the American people know that their dollars don't end up doing political activities prohibited by law?
Why not go? I mean, could you answer the congressman?
It's not up to us. My job is to serve our 500,000 members.
Ms. Lewis, could you answer the question directly?
And that's
why not go before the committee? He's talking about. Please let me ask the question.
Okay.
Congressman Towns, who's a Democrat. It is a Democratic-controlled committee, but there obviously are Republicans like the ranking Republican, Congressman Issa, are saying, come before us and explain, because it seems like you're merging charity, nonprofit, profit, political, non-political, and that it all gets jumbled up and you don't know which dollar is going where.
Well, that's Congressman Issa's opinion.
Chris is asking a question. You're giving an answer that your own consul, Kingsley, said is not true. You don't have firewalls. That's an internal memo. That's your consul saying you have these problems. And if you had those problems then, and for 40 years have had these problems, and the American people have put $53 million into your organization and countless other dollars of other state, local, and charity money, the question is, will you allow, at least looking back, a review of these things so that people can have a confidence that you have those in? There's no God-given right for any organization to receive a grant from the American people. The fact is there are organizations standing in line that wish they won instead of you, and they're giving us the transparency so we can have the confidence the money is spent only for the purpose of the grant.
Since I took over, I have overhauled the entire system.
Wait,
we took our advice, and that's what we're doing.
You say that you overhauled. You say you overhauled the whole system.
Yes.
There are the videos which have happened on your watch. I just want to put up.
That's
Here
right.
are Acorn workers
That's right.
advising young men and women posing as a pimp and a prostitute how to buy a house and avoid paying taxes. Here it is.
Your business is a performing artist.
A performing artist.
But you are. Okay? So you're not lying.
That's kind of
We'll play
boosting
on
my
words.
ego.
But you're a performing artist.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
So stop saying prostitute.
Got it.
Day one, you earn X amount of dollars, find another name.
Find another name for...
And don't say that you're prostituting or whatever.
You were brought in a year ago to clean up Acorn. Is this the new and improved Acorn?
Well, what did I do? Immediately, these folks were terminated.
Well, actually, first you attacked us and said it was a political and a racial conspiracy. Is that still going on a year after you took office?
Well,
Acorn has long ties to Barack Obama. He's done work over the years for various organizations.
You say that there's long ties, but that's a matter of opinion.
He was an attorney for Acorn on a couple of occasions.
You personally endorsed Barack Obama last year in a speech before Acorn. Do you hope that he will veto any measure that comes out of Congress cutting off Acorn funds?
First of all, President Obama was a young lawyer among many different lawyers that represented a whole host of organizations. Just not
Ms. Lewis,
us.
can I get an answer to my
Here's what we
question?
want.
If you want to have an independent investigation, and I've heard that expression used by Bertha many times, you go out to Price Waterhouse or Ernst & Young and you walk in and say, I want an audit of our corporations. And when we get done with it, make it public.
Let me interrupt you, if I may, because you said this last week that you would name an independent auditor by Friday to review Acorn. I looked at your website 20 minutes ago. There's still not a word.
Bertha, if I could ask just one question from a standpoint of the government.
We're almost out of time.
Before we provide additional grants or make you eligible for additional grants, wouldn't it be fair for you to demonstrate to the federal government, to the agencies, that in fact you now have those separations, so that whether it's Price Waterhouse or somebody else, will you assure us that that's the case? Because my opinion continues to be you shouldn't get another penny of federal dollars until you demonstrate that those dollars are firewalled for only that use. And that has not been the history of your organization.